Greetings, everyone. This is Gideon. I'm here again this week, and I'm very excited to be back today. It is a journey that we are on. Things do not get uncovered in an instant, in a moment. Things begin to get unraveled and uncovered in a step-by-step process. Imagine, if you will, you are deemed to go through an obstacle course. There are 20 obstacles that you have to go through. Now, you cannot start at the starting line and expect to start at obstacle number 15. You have to start at obstacle number 1. And then you have to successfully maneuver through obstacle 1. And then you move on to obstacle number 2. And you have to successfully navigate through obstacle 2. Now, each and every obstacle is different. And when you hit obstacle number 5, unfortunately, you don't navigate the obstacle successfully, and you fall by the wayside. Now, you don't go back to obstacle number 1. You start where you fell in obstacle 5. So you go back and you start obstacle 5 all over again. And if you fall 5 times, the important aspect here is you get up 6 times. And you keep working that obstacle until you successfully navigate that obstacle. Now, obstacle 1 through 20, let's hypothetically say that's a level. Level 1. 20 obstacles. And when you have successfully navigated and completed all 20 obstacles, what is it they say in games? You get to power up. Your vibrational frequency gets to increase, you see. And so you move on to level 2. Level 2 also has 20 obstacles. And Spirit likes to make it encouraging. So the first few obstacles aren't overly difficult. They're fairly easy to navigate through and to complete. And then you come up to obstacle 10 on level 2. And there's 2 different avenues, 2 different directions that you can go. And you don't know which direction will mean that you can successfully navigate the obstacle. And here's the deal with obstacle 10. It's, well, I guess you might say, a lot of people would say it's not an obstacle that's fair. It's actually an unfair obstacle. And you'll have people who are facing this obstacle, they will sit there and they will say, Spirit must be punishing me. Spirit must not want me to succeed here. And the reason for this is very simple. Let's say you choose the pathway to the left, and it turns out to be wrong, and you were unsuccessful navigating that obstacle. Now, most people would say the most you'll have to do this obstacle is twice. Because if you take the wrong path the first time, all you have to do is take the other path the next time. But it doesn't work that way. After each attempt, they shuffle. And when it stops, it could be exactly the way it was before. The left path doesn't work, the right one does. But you don't know. So how do you choose? How do you choose which pathway do you go down? All you know is that you're being driven to complete all 20 obstacles. You've made it through level 1. You're at the halfway or midway point of level 2. And now you're facing your first real challenge. You can roll the die, shall we say. Take a chance. Who knows? You might be successful. You might go through and complete level 10, wipe your brow and say, wow, that was a close one. But the best way of doing it is to discern. Now, people utilize different tools when they're trying to ask simple questions, especially yes or no questions. Some people like pendulums. And pendulums work differently for different people, but basically for a yes, it will swing one way. For a no, it'll swing another way. And if it's I don't know, it'll go around in circles or something like this. It just depends upon the vibrational frequency and the magnetics that the individual carries within themselves as far as how the pendulum works. Or you can do the really simple method. And I don't know how many of you know this method, but I will teach it to you anyway, because if nothing else, it's fun to do from time to time. You want to know yes or no. Do I go down the left-hand side, yes or no? Do I go down the right-hand side, yes or no? And this is the way you do it. You hold your hands out and you say, this hand is yes, this hand is no. And then you ask your question and you just focus on feeling your hands. And all of a sudden, you'll notice that one hand becomes heavier than the other, almost pushing it down. That's your answer, you see. So you do that, and it says that the right-hand path is the right path. You take the right-hand path, and congratulations, you have successfully navigated level 3. Or level 10, sorry. So you've navigated level 10. You end up completing level 2. Congratulations. Your vibrational frequency has increased again. It doesn't increase by an exponential amount. It simply increases a little bit. It opens up other doorways. Now you get to level 3. And all of a sudden you notice that the attributes of the obstacles have now changed. They're not the same as they were in level 1 and level 2. This represents certain truths that were true in level 1 and level 2, but are no longer true, you see. So you have to let go of those truths, because now they aren't true at all. They're still true for level 1 and level 2, but not for level 3, because it's a different vibrational frequency, you see. This is about moving up the ladder of understanding, of awareness. And then you discover that the hand technique isn't working. And the pendulum technique just keeps saying, I don't know. And now you're stumped. Because now you're on level 3 and you're on the 20th obstacle. Once you complete this obstacle, you will move into the 4th level. And this has been a long journey. It takes a long time to go through a level. But now nothing's working. So you have to rely on something extraordinary. You have to rely on the tools and the gifts that Spirit has given you. Now, in the past, you've been told you must discern. And I'm going to speak a moment about discernment. I'm going to tell you about the power of discernment. I'm going to tell you about the attributes of discernment. And I'm going to show you and teach you how to discern. Because this is the most powerful tool that you have. Now, what is this tool used for? See, this is the vital question. You've had this one, you've had El Sharon, Elder, you've had so many come and tell you, you must discern. You must go with what resonates. But they haven't sat back and explained to you why or what it truly means. And so this is our focus today, and our lesson today is discernment. What is it? Why is it important? And how can it assist me in my soul path? For a great many individuals, in one hand, you are doing the exact right thing. You are realizing that the most important incarnation is the one you're living in. It's this one right now. The downside to this realization, the downside to this knowledge, is that you place so much emphasis on this life. And what I mean by that is, you ask questions like, should I move? Should I change jobs? Am I on the right path? Does my ex-boyfriend still love me? I pay attention, you see. What do any of these questions have to do with your soul path? You are given the gifts of your heart and guidance, and your intuition, and your discernment, not to confuse the issue, not to confuse your incarnation or your life. It is to ensure one thing. It's not about ensuring that you're going to win the lottery, or that you're going to buy that new car. No. What it's viewed for and what it's used for is to ensure that you walk the soul path that you are here to walk. There are those individuals who meet someone and their heart says, this is right. You want to pursue this. You want to pursue a relationship with this person. And so they do. And this is a young lady who's 25 years old. And the gentleman that she's met is 28. He's got a decent job. And initially, anyway, he's a very nice person. And they start dating. He's very charming. And she falls hard for him. Six months go by. And she's pushing for them to live together and to be together more permanently. And then all of a sudden, he stops returning her calls. He stops communicating with her. She becomes despondent. She becomes confused, angry. She doesn't know what's going on. She finally tracks him down. And she sees him in a restaurant having dinner with another woman. She doesn't know who this other woman is. She's devastated. So the next day she goes around to his place and he answers the door and she starts yelling and screaming, "Why have you done this to me?" And he said it just wasn't working out. I've decided to move on. And he closes the door and he moves on. And she's a basket case for the next 12 months. Now, this is a real life scenario. This has happened to people. In her particular case, when she heals from this, she determines that it's not right to follow her heart because she did, and look what happened. And there are people who believe this, who believe that they cannot trust their heart because they have been hurt. What she's not conscious of is that there was a karmic energy between the two of them that needed to be balanced, and it was. And so they moved on. But you see, you don't get all of that information all of the time. So it comes back to what we discussed last week, which was trust and faith in yourself for yourself, trust and faith in spirit. And I explained to you what those meant. So we have to look at discernment now. Discernment is to ensure that you stay on the path you are here to walk, your soul path, within the framework of your soul life, your incarnation. So the first thing that you need to know about discernment, it's not a mental thing. It's not a situation where you understand what it's all about. It's not a situation where you have all the answers, where everything slots in logically. Discernment begins in the emotional body. How does it make you feel? Some people have different triggers when they hear something they really, really, really need to pay attention to. Now, it won't always come up, even when something is true, but if there's something that's really, really important, it will come up, like goosebumps or a wave of energy. But what you have to ask yourself is, you've received a piece of information. How does it make you feel? Does it uplift you? Or does it feel dense? Does it feel vibrant and alive? Or does it feel dark and foreboding? Sometimes you'll get a piece of information and all of the alarm bells will go off and you'll feel it in every cell of your body. And you'll go, yep, that's true. I've got to do that. I've got to walk down that path. And you do so. And it works exactly the way it's meant to work. Doesn't mean that it will work the way you think it should work, but it will work the way it is meant to work. Sometimes you have to consider it and discern, how does it feel in this moment? Not too bad. It doesn't feel dense or dark or anything like that. Feels all right, but I'm just not sure. Okay? Wait till the next day. Then revisit it. How does it feel? It's okay. It feels a little brighter, a little lighter today. Certainly doesn't feel dense or dark or anything like that. But there's not an overwhelming feeling, you see. So you wait another day, a third day. And on that third day, you go within again. How does this information feel? How does it sit with me? It's a little bit brighter. It resonates. Then you move with it, you go with it. Or you do the same scenario, and on the third day you say, it's not that it feels dense or dark, but it just doesn't feel right in this moment. So then in that moment, you don't do it. That is discerning. You have to be patient. You see, one of the issues that we have in the utilization of things like following your heart and guidance and discernment, there is a requirement of patience, you see. And that is where the crux of the issue resides, you see. Because in this reality, at this particular juncture, at this particular moment, what are you used to? Think about it. What is it that you are used to? You are used to instant gratification. There are those who talk about the old days, when the phone was a rotary phone on the wall, and when somebody called, everyone would run for the phone to answer it because they had no idea who it was, and they knew that it was somebody that wanted to talk to somebody in the house, and they were hoping it would be them. And those moments when you couldn't get to the phone in time, you had no idea who called you, and you had two choices: call everyone you knew or wait for them to call back. And now you can look at your phone and go, no, I'm not going to talk to you right now. Or, wow, I've been waiting for your call. You know who's calling you. generally. You can go onto Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all of these things in an instant, anywhere you are. You can be anywhere in the world. You can be on the toilet. You can be in a car. You can be at work. You can be in a grocery store, wherever you are. And instantaneously, you can communicate with the world. When I first came to this world to interact with those individuals here, that wasn't out there. That wasn't the case. You didn't have Facebook where you could go and there are hundreds of thousands of spiritual groups to choose from, and you don't know which one to go to. So what do people normally choose? They like to choose those that will tell them what they want to hear, instead of going to a group or being part of something where they get told things simply from the heart, that they are responsible for themselves to discern, to see if it resonates within them. You see, when you receive information, if you are not discerning the information to see if it resonates with you, to see if it feels right to you, it's like you're at obstacle 10. Which side do you go down? Do you just take a punt and hope that the information is right? I have watched. It is true, I have never incarnated upon this world. However, I have been working with this world and working with starseeds for a very, very long time in your incarnations. And I have watched people over and over and over again go with something because they simply want it to be true, instead of discerning what is actually truth for them. Some have asked why, as a higher dimensional being that I am, why did I choose him? Why did I not choose someone else? I chose him for a simple reason. He tells you to discern. He works tirelessly to help to empower people. And it's no longer about blindly trying to help starseeds awaken. Now, today, and moving forward, it's about assisting starseeds in preparing to go home, to finish up why they are here, to finish up what they have come here to do. I can assure you, I chose wisely. Now, I would appreciate it very, very much if you have a question you would like to ask me. Please feel free to type it in, and I will get to as many questions as I can. So I want you to understand, discernment is about what it feels like. Does it feel light? Does it feel dark? Does it feel light or heavy? Does it make you feel good and uplifted? Or does it make you feel almost oppressed? And sometimes Your discernment will take you down a path that can be very, very challenging. But it is never about punishment. It is about taking you down the path you have chosen. You're not conscious of all the choices that you made before you came here in this incarnation. For those of you here listening at this moment, your final incarnation. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. And now it's time to receive the tools to finish things right. Oh, yes, thank you. I will answer the question from Hal Kirby first. Do we miss our own ascension from our home by being here for so long? No. As a starseed on this planet, you have already gone through the ascension on your world. You will not have missed anything. In fact, when you leave this world for the final time, you will transition within the framework of what you term the near realms. You will then be taken into the temple, which I am familiar with, and you will be taken to your physical body that has been in stasis, and you will re-enter your body, kind of like at night when you leave your body here and then re-enter your body when you're going to wake up. So it's kind of like that, a little bit different, but kind of like that. And then once you are fully into your physical body, you will wake up, and on your trip home or wherever you're going, you will get caught up with whatever you need to get caught up with. So I hope that answers your question, Hal. Now we will go down and we will find out who has questions. Angie Taylor, you make a comment about the requirement of discernment since you had your car accident, going to the workshop and everything that has occurred since then. It was your opportunity, that event was your opportunity to move more into alignment with who you truly are, to make a choice of what you were going to choose. And from what I can see, you chose correctly because you chose you. Let me see here. Great deal about cars. Amanda Sears. Diet can affect individuals, and it can affect spiritual abilities in this regard. When an individual is not looking after themselves properly, it has a negative impact on them. Okay. Processed foods a lot of times will cause and create blockages as well as issues with the physical body, which can affect the etheric body and affect a person's spiritual abilities. Generally, it's not too overly bad. However, the real damage is normally done to the physical body because of the processed foods, because of the chemicals that they use in them. Generally, an individual, if they really want to consume processed goods, should really focus on their intent before consuming them, that it does you no harm and things like this. It is something that is beginning to shift on this planet and change, but we will see. A lot of what you are experiencing, both in the lower abdominal as well as your hands, have to do with the releasing that's going on. Many star seeds in this incarnation, right here, right now. Before you incarnated, you were informed that the potential was this was going to be the last and final incarnation of your journey. And as such, many of you decided you wanted to clear as much energy as possible. You wanted to clear as much of the crap as possible, balance as much energy as possible. And so you have taken on a great deal of energy to clear, and it is having an effect upon you physically. And the best thing that you can do is focus on listening to your body, listening to your discernment, and really focusing, and I would suggest 2 to 3 times a day. Don't put expectations or anything else around anything. Close the eyes, and anyone can do this, and it's a wonderful technique, very, very simple to use. You don't need to stress about it. Close your eyes, and you imagine a chest, and it can be an ornate chest. It can have designs on it and crystals on it, whatever. It can be a plain chest. Whatever you want to create is fine. The lid is open. Go through your body. Anything that doesn't feel right, anything that doesn't sit right, any energy that doesn't feel like it's yours, anything that is not yours, anything that you can let go, that you no longer need to work with or utilize or anything else. You place all of these things into the chest twice a day. And when you're done, each time, when you're done, you close the lid. And the next time that you're going to do this, you open the lid. And you'll notice that everything that's in the chest is now gone, disappeared, taken away. Takes a while. Some of you are clearing energies from lifetimes that go back tens of thousands of years. Some of you are clearing lifetimes that go back over 100,000 years. You do this for a simple reason. You don't like to leave things undone, and you don't like to leave them for other people. It's another reason why the Blue Star Healing Method was created by Danae. So, Donna, when you go home, what species of body will you inhabit? Do you have a choice? No, you don't have a choice. You will inhabit your own. There are too many different beings from too many different worlds to try and ascertain which is which for every single person. But just know, I'll put it this way: when the time comes and you go into the temple and you go into your body, your physical body, and you are awakened, they do it very gently, and you integrate your experiences here and your time here. And if you look in the mirror, you will be overcome with feelings of joy and love and gratitude. When opportunities of discerning come upon us, this is Wendy. Are there possible pitfalls or traps that can elude us, such as ego, lies, disguised as truths? I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to share something with you that you need to understand. There is nothing that happens to you in your incarnation that is a punishment. Period. End of story. Having said that, when you make commitments to yourself, to spirit, when you make choices, spirit will test you, because spirit wants to know if you are serious. In a later talk, we will talk about manifestation. But the bottom line is that, so I won't go into that aspect of this, but the bottom line is you will be tested. Because it is that old phrase of, source helps those who help themselves. So you have to make a choice. You have to make a commitment. You have to demonstrate that commitment. You have to step into that commitment. And when Spirit sees this, Spirit will test you. And sometimes when you haven't been discerning and you start focusing on discerning, sometimes Spirit will test you with things to test your discernment. This isn't to throw you out. This isn't to punish you. This isn't to screw with your life. It's to assist you, so getting your discernment in a much stronger position. That is the best way that I can describe it to you. How, Kirby, there are things that need to be removed out of you. We're going to wait until the workshop for you. Dana, you are clearing several different lifetimes. You're also clearing energies that you've held on to for a very long time that stem from where you are from in this incarnation. Be gentle with yourself. continue to release, and much will happen for you as well in your workshop as well. Amanda Sears. Sometimes on a pathway, before it will truly open up, there are things that has to be gone through. It's like going through the obstacle courses, the different levels. You have to move through all 20 obstacles before you can move to the next level. Many people can say the exact same thing that you've just said. Patience is vitally important. Staying the course, discerning, walking your soul path. And the more you do so, the more it will allow other things to open up. Although I am not a fortune teller, for the travel and the pathway, the soul path you're on currently, depending upon the choices you make, there are a couple of different potentials. One, in your reality, in your mind, you would say would be fairly good, and another one not quite so good. In order to get to the path and the outcome that you're looking for in here, discernment is going to be your friend, and releasing. That is my suggestion. Young James, I did not answer your question because, to be honest with you, I did not see your question. So if you wish to actually ask your question over again, we can try it again if you don't mind. So many interesting people, I can assure you. Karen Stevens, how can you tell how much more you need to clear? This is a very, very, very powerful question, and a very potent question as well. You may not like my answer, however, as long as you are here on this planet, assume that there will be things to clear. And I will give you an example of this. When you have incarnated in this world, in this dimensional reality, over 400 times, that is a lot of incarnations. Now, I can also tell you that over 95% of your incarnations on this planet has been as a woman. I can also tell you that throughout the course of all of your incarnations, you've had thousands of children, you've had hundreds of different parents, you have experienced everything you can imagine on this planet, both good, traumatic, negative. positive, loving, hateful, so on and so on and so on and so on. Do you really think that in, say, 10 years of your life in this one incarnation, you could clear over 400 lifetimes? It is not expected when a starseed crosses over for that final time, from that final incarnation, and they go to the temple. It is not expected that anyone will show up having cleared everything. The reason that the Blue Star Healing Method was provided to this planet was to specifically assist starseeds in releasing and letting go of all of these things in a way that is much more conducive, because many times sitting there and filling a trunk, you will fill it with all sorts of and all manner of things, but there are going to be the majority of things you can't get rid of in that manner, in that way. That's why it was given this healing modality. It is time for starseeds to prepare to go home. So I would suggest you keep releasing, letting go, discerning. But I will say this. You do need to trust yourself more. That's vitally important. Lucy, you want to know if you're on the right soul path? Ask your heart. Young James, I do not play those games. Correct, Trish. We are going to finish there and complete this transmission. I give unto each of you love and blessings, and please understand and please know you are not alone on this journey. Walk your soul path. Don't worry about anyone else's. Focus on yours. Remember discernment. If you forgot what was said, go back and listen to this again. Discernment is one of the most vital attributes you carry to make sure and assist you in walking your soul path in your soul life. Much love to all. I am Gideon. Toshimiata.